I would say we have evolved. I mean, I think that there still is work that has to be done. When I look at just a lot of just the social, cultural trends that I see, and how it's been like celebrated and embraced, not just by Black gay men, but and gay men in general, but even just outside of that community. So, you know, when you had a few years back, Soldier Boy saying, yes, bitch, yes, you know, like that came from us. And even when you watch a lot of what's happening on TV, when you see like white folks now saying shade and all that good stuff, you know, all that came from us. So it's good to see that our culture is being like appreciated and celebrated.
I'd like to say, sort of in the same vein as Aunsha, it's good to see more of a Black gay image in media and marketing, but my thought is that it's not always empowering. I think a big part of sort of, we talk about this kind of influx of Black gay culture in modern society, sadly is not necessarily a celebration, but an exploitation. And so, you know, we see very limited representations of Black gay men in media.
Just on the local front, you know, we're starting to see more men be affirmed in their sexual orientation, and more men are coming out. More men are being, more Black gay men are being more expressive. Where 10 years ago, you know, there was a lot of internalized homophobia that stopped us from being, you know, as out and proud as we are now. So I definitely would like to think that there's been a shift as far as our evolving as Black gay men.
You all being from different agencies in Los Angeles, what would you say you've noticed an evolution in the services that we're able to provide for Black gay men in the agencies, from that perspective, based on the fact that we come from an agency perspective in the work that we do?
Oftentimes, as Aunsha said, you know, those resources are sometimes placed in the wrong hands, and there isn't the right staff, or the cultural competency levels are not there, and you know, in order, you know, I feel like in order for you to get involved or to help a community, you have to be involved with that community. You know, we all stand here as people that work at organizations, but we are community just like you. So we are not exempt from depression, internalized homophobia, and all the things that you all, you know, experience. We experience those too, and sometimes we experience that even worse in our organizations.
I actually work with a quote, unapologetically Black organization. And so coming from corporate America going into this space, I really see sort of the juxtaposition, or sort of the side by side of being in this predominantly white space that's very not centered around Black needs, being in this space that's centrally centered around Black needs. And so the Institute has sort of always been in that space. And so I kind of speak from this place of comparison. Like Darnell was saying, you often have to, you know, when we are as Black men, as Black gay men, navigating life and work and sort of all the politics, I often have to step back and make sure that, am I getting what I need? And is this place where I sit, is this place providing me what I need? And then we have to be prepared to like continue to ask questions until we get some type of next steps. I know moving from this corporate space into, you know, where I am now, I thought everything was okay. I just thought that's just how it is. You just have to deal. And I think in so many spaces we've conditioned ourselves to just kind of say, well, this is what it is. We just got to deal with this, and we don't. Yeah. We don't. And so really just, you know, speaking to what we've all said, really being able to look within so that it's reflected.
When I look at a lot of these government funds, I feel like it sets us up for that to happen. And I know when I stepped into this role as ED, I said I want to be able to, I will be happy, I know I'll be satisfied at the agency once I see our agency not operating off of government funds, because I feel like it's becoming like crack in a sense. So, and I say that because I think it takes away the autonomy. So when you look at the work back in the 80s and the early 90s, you saw that there was a whole lot of autonomy, like, hey, do as you please and do as you feel. But I think that's because the phase was not ours, you know. Right, so now you see a whole new phase. It's like, let's put restrictions on how you're supposed to do, you know, limitations on how you can do the work, and doesn't allow for us to kind of have the autonomy to do the work that we know is best, you know, that will be a best fit for our community that we're serving.
So I want to know, in your opinion, what is something that we need to do as a community to truly come together and to actually establish a sense of community for Black gay men?
Well, I think that's the, you know, you just said the answer right there, establish community.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about us. We have oftentimes we get so centered around, you know, the black gay man, you know, and we're forgetting about our lesbian sisters. We're forgetting about our trans brothers and sisters. And I think that we definitely need to unify, you know, our community again, you know, and empower one another again. I think there's power in numbers. And I think, you know, if we stand together, we won't be defeated.
I think we need to see more strategy, you know, and so a big part of unified effort is strategy. And so I think there needs to be some sort of culmination of leadership or community members or some people who everybody say everything matter, or those people who say they need to come together and say, okay, how do we, who don't represent this group, forward some collaborative efforts? Because there's always people got so much to say in response to something.
And I was just going to say, just more spaces like this, like in the meantime, where it offers those, for dialogues to happen. I think that there's a need for us to just build our emotional intelligence capacity. You know, that way we can definitely be able to articulate what it is that we're feeling and can say it, and people definitely get it. I think that a lot of times when we're trying to communicate our emotions, it gets misconstrued as something else. I feel like we're able to build our own, you know, emotional intelligence. It allows for us to do that. And I think it allows for us to be able to help facilitate that whole process for healing for us. I mean, it goes way before, you know, of course we already know this goes way before, even before our own existence, and looking at just the whole thing around slavery and how the values or the condition of those things have been passed down from generation to generation to where you see how we show up today. And so I would love for us to just kind of have more around our emotional intelligence and use that as a way to start the healing process, because yeah, we got to heal first.
So my question would be, what are the conversations that are not being had as it pertains to HIV, and what are your views about how it's currently impacting black gay men?
I'll start. I think one of the biggest conversations that we haven't had in the black community, I want to bring it back to the black community at large, is just around homophobia, you know, and around gay-related issues. I think that has been one of the things that has plagued, you know, our community for so long. And I think that, you know, once black people start having honest conversations again and stop acting like things aren't happening and sweeping things under the rug forever and ever and ever, then we can get a hold onto this thing. You know, early on in the 80s, it wasn't just gay people. Gay people were rallying together, but it was your mamas, it was your aunties, it was the church, it was everybody, it was whoever, you know, and we need to get to that point again where we're having honest conversations about, you know, our gay brothers and sisters and our gay family and our trans family, because it's happening right before our eyes, and our people are dying. You know, it's that internalized homophobia. No matter who you are and how you grew up, you're always going to be impacted by it. Always, just as a person of color. You know, because we didn't have a model growing up saying, this is what a gay person looks like, and ooh, they're happy and gay. You know, unless you're probably a millennial and you had Gaga or something like that, but Gaga don't look like you. You know what I mean? Let's just be for real. And the people that they want, that they impress upon us, are stereotypical imagery of what, you know, we're supposed to believe gay is about. But you don't see, you know, Uncle Johnny's been around forever with his lover, but nobody really talks about that because we don't really want to stir that up, you know. So we need to start talking about this stuff more, you know, within our communities and within our family, because this generation has not seen an AIDS. AIDS has been around. You know, AIDS has been in your family. AIDS, we know people living with HIV. You know, let's just be for real. So it's like we shouldn't be this stigmatized at this point, and it's only going to take us having true and honest conversations.